Merlin 3D input-output rates. Hey everybody, my name is John Capobianco, and I'm adding a fourth repository to the Merlin suite. I've got Merlin, the CLI, that you run through a virtual Python environment. We have a Docker container version, a Kubernetes version, and now a fourth one I'm calling Merlin 3D that's going to incorporate Blender. It's going to be open source, and I hope to make a README file today. But let's take a quick look at the conceptual view of this with the whiteboard. So we have our router, a Nexus 9K, and we're going to use PyATS, in this case learn interface, learn int, where we get JavaScript object notation back. We're going to run that through a Jinja 2 template that gives us Blender-friendly JSON, and we're going to save that to a file. In Blender and with Python, we're going to load this file, load the JSON, and create a variable in the Python, right? Little imaginary line here. We're going to link this variable to a script in Blender that enables us to get at this JSON data, which in turn, we're going to have the management interface, the input-output rate, how much is coming into it and how much is coming out of it. Now, what can we do with the Blender? Well, I was thinking about, what about cylinders, like a bar graph in 3D with the input and output, the actual rate as a number, and the timestamp. And these cylinders grow and collapse with the individual rate at a particular time. Now, it'd be really nice to have it as a time histogram, where we can use the time series information to plot the input-output rate in a line graph that is three-dimensional as well. And maybe even add those little timestamps as the plotted points. Well, yes, we can do this, three-dimensional input-output. So let's hop over into the environment. Now, I'm not going to do a deep code tour in this video. I'm going to just show you the animation, and we're going to change a couple of little variables to show you. So I've set it to be 1,000 frames here, and I have my PyATS container ready to go. So let me start the PyATS. So once we start the PyATS, what's going to happen is it's in a loop of 50, the PyATS. Let me start my animation frames. So I have plenty of time here, 1,000 frames and 50 loops. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to run out of frames. Maybe I need more than that. But these numbers should start to, there we go. They start to climb. And let me make this 5,000 frames. Whoops, 5,000. And so we have the time here is changing, and it's about 4, maybe 5 seconds, which is pretty good over VPN. Almost real time. All right, this is incredible. Just the counters here alone having it in almost real time. Now, there go my cylinders. I don't know what's happening with my cylinder colors, but as of a certain frame or data set, I have to work on those. So let me turn those off. That's not what I'm here to explore. I'll have to fix that though. That's unfortunate that they keep changing colors like that. But let me just take those off the screen, because really what I want to show you is the climbing. Yeah, that's too bad. So anyway, we're just going to hide those for now. And let's take a look at our climbing lines. So I adjusted the smoothing so they're not as snake-like. They're more like a official sticker. And look at, if we line them up kind of in 2 dimensions, we can see that it's just like a normal line graph. But if we move around 3-dimensionally, right, we can see an output is climbing off of the chart here compared to input, which is pretty smooth and climbing steadily. So now you wonder what the little dashes are. Those are the timestamps. Actually, hang on. On one of them, it's the timestamps. Here on output, it's still the timestamps. But on the input, I've made it the value of the right? And I'll show you that we can just toggle that easily here if I want to see what the values are of, let's say, the output. Well, I just find that text generator down here, convert to text, and I just change the index to 0. And now, is that not the right object? Should be. Or am I on the input? Oh, I wonder why that's not changing. Am I on the wrong object? Output timestamp. That's interesting. Maybe I don't have the... Because I was able to do it here. Like if I change that to index 1, see, that did work. So here, if I just do it for input output, I can change it from the data to the time ingested. And the cylinders are back. So I have to deal with those cylinders. But the line graph is really incredible. Now I don't know, we're about how many... Yeah, there's not many frames left. Let's let it finish. And I'll show you, unless the PyETS has stopped, and I don't think it has. Right, and I could run a ping. No, that's still running. Let's run a ping and see if we can get input or something to change or adjust this. And even just the act of logging in should change some of these numbers. But if I ping 10, 10, 22, 54, VRF management count 100, packet size 500, we'll see if we can make those change again. So it's almost out of frames here. And is the PyETS loop done? No, it's still running. So we can see the numbers here. Input stays pretty low and output's climbing pretty high. It's pretty neat. Now let me, okay, it's done. It's done, the animations here. So let me, what I can show you is something pretty neat here. Oh, I see, maybe that's, alright, so anyway, ignore these cylinders. I will just hide those one more time. Oh yeah, that's not what I need. I want to show you this really neat thing. Now that it's fully animated, let me hide my cylinders again. So what we can do is say this output. See how it highlights the object here? We can go to the curve and go to the properties of this curve. And under the geometry, is it here or is it here? Oh, here under the curve. See, under the geometry, there is the start and time mapping. Well, check this out. We can replay the pipe from start to finish. Where's that geometry time? Right, all the way to the end, all the way to the start. Pretty neat, eh? Anyhow, I'm really having a lot of fun. This is, like I said, so I'm ready to make a README file, which is going to take a bit of time because of the containers and the WSL. There's a lot of things. It's not going to be, it's going to be simple to consume the README file, I hope. But pretty soon you'll be able to clone this repository and import this Blender you're watching right here, connect to the DevNet sandbox, and start to graph the Management Zero interface yourself in 3 dimensions. So look out for the release. This is kind of a release party video. It should be out hopefully by the end of the weekend, maybe even sooner. So stay safe, everybody. Thanks.